Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marcella Wilson from Short Term Rental Academy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fortune upselling your guests. That's right. So, in addition to booking fees a guest may pay you when they book your rental, I'm going to show you how to make even more money by upselling them. All right, let's get to it. But before I do, I just want to take a minute and give you a hand clap for doing something to improve your rental, improve your business, and improve your life, really, because if your rental can be successful or get consistent bookings, it can really change your life. I know because it changed mine. So, congrats to you, and let's get to it. All right, I want to tell you a little story about me and a barbecue grill. So, if you don't know anything about me, I own several short term rental properties in Florida near Disney World. They are super successful. And actually, the community where my homes are located in, like all of the houses there are like Airbnb rentals. It's like Airbnb heaven, right? Um, so I know like my neighbors, even though we don't live there per se, we all know each other, right? So one of my next door neighbors, she's kind of my mentor, and she's where I learned a lot about this business. Now I won't get into how we actually met and all this kind of stuff like that. That's for another training. But I usually go to her when I have questions or, about the business, my Airbnb. So one day she happened to call me and check in on me, how things are going. I was like, great, 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 great. And she was like, well, that's great. And I was like, but, I have one problem. Everybody keeps, asking me, do I have a grill? I'm like, I don't have a grill. And I was like, I don't have a grill, but these people keep asking me. And I was a little irritated about it. I don't know why, but I kept thinking like, no, I just offer a house. It has a kitchen, it has a pool, but I don't have a grill. I was really like, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking business wise about this whole thing. And her name is, I'll call her Paula. Paula was like, what? She was like, girl, you need to stop what you're doing, get that grill and put it in the house, put it on the pool deck and start charging. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, people will pay extra just to use the grill. And that could be another source of income. And I was like, really? She was like, really? She's like, get one from Home Depot, Lowe's. It'll be a couple $100 for you to buy. Get the mat, the grill mat, the cover, the utensils, whatever you need. Put it on the pool deck and just charge people to use it. And I was like, well, how much do I charge? She's like, charge per day. I was like, people will pay per day for a grill? She's like, absolutely. So, I try to be teachable. I know I teach people, but I also try to be teachable. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do what Paula said. She hadn't steered me wrong yet. So I got a grill. We put it on the pool deck and actually put it on our listing, that we have a grill. And let me just tell you, I get so much income from that one thing. I get income from other ways, and I'll show you in this training. But, people are happy to pay per day for a grill. People ask me. I tell people about it, if they don't ask. But it makes me a lot of money. I would say to each booking, I would say on average, 7 out of every 10 bookings that I get, they'll add the grill on. and it'll add like about 30%. So over 30% to the cost of the booking, and several $100s a month. Not in the low end too, just for a grill. All right, so that's my story. And when I saw this, it kind of opened my eyes to, this whole thing of upselling. So I'm going to show you some ways that me and other people that I know they have Airbnbs, how they upsell their guests and just make a fortune. All right. In addition to their booking fees. So let's get into it. All right. But first, let me tell you the big picture, right? Why do you want to upsell your guests? And the number one reason, which was happening to me a lot, is because your guests are going to ask for things. Now, if you're already an Airbnb owner, or you're already renting out a property on Airbnb or VRBO or HomeAway.com or whatever, you might have experienced this. People ask you for stuff, or people ask you for services or things. And they might not think they're asking you for services, but they're asking you for stuff. So just like me and the barbecue grill, you might as well get it and get prepared and get paid for it, because they're going to ask you anyway. So sometimes when I tell people about this, people who want to set up an Airbnb and they're kind of squeamish when I tell them you should upsell your guests, they're like, well, I don't want to be scammy and I don't want to sell to them. And I'm just like, they're going to ask you anyway. That's the number one reason they're going to ask you. Another reason why you should do this, because it helps contribute to their stay. It helps contribute to their experience. The things that they're going to ask you about are things that they want for their stay, things that they want to have a better experience while they're staying in your place, right? So they're not just, first of all, they're not asking for these things out of the blue. They ask them because they want it. They are asking you because they need it. And on the flip side, you're offering it to them because it contributes to their stay. Like, I tell people, hey, we got a grill. Y'all want to grill out on the pool deck? We have a grill for an additional fee, because it contributes to that experience. And people are like, oh, okay, yeah, we want that. We want to have a party by the pool. All right, another reason why is because you have to pay to get these services or things that your guests request, right? So sometimes you don't have to pay, but like the barbecue grill, I had to pay for that. Now I only had to pay for that once, but some other services you may actually have to pay regularly or upfront or on a one-time basis. So you have to pay for these things anyway. So this is kind of a way to recoup your costs. Upsells are a great way to offset your mortgage, rent, utilities, and other expenses that you have to pay as an Airbnb host, right? You got bills, right? You may have the mortgage, the rent, electricity, cable. You have to pay to run this short-term rental property. So this is just more income for you to pay for these costs that you have to cover. And then the last reason is just additional revenue, period. And who doesn't want additional revenue that's easy to add and is almost like a no-brainer? All right, so these are the reasons why you want to do this. All right, let's get into the first way we can upsell our guests. I know this is the main one. People want early check-ins. And I feel like, I don't know if we're out of the pandemic yet, but since people are, lockdowns are lifted and people are traveling again, I feel like more and more so, everybody wants an early check-in. Everybody wants to see each other. They haven't seen each other. They just want to get there. So this is like the number one thing I hear. Can I get in early? Right? And I ask that if I'm staying in a hotel, I always ask, can I get an early check-in? Right? Okay. I say, yes, you can. And it's an additional fee. And They won't always pay for it, but a lot of them do, right? So people are going to ask you for an early check-in, and you can say yes, but also you have to tack on it's for an additional fee. Don't be afraid to say that. Okay? Do not leave money on the table. They will pay extra. Not all of them, but a lot. All right. So when you're doing an early check-in, be ready. All right. In general, you have to honor your check-in time, but if it's early, make sure that the house is ready. If you have other people cleaning the property, make sure you notify them. Make sure everything's in line so the house is ready for the early check-in. Also, if a guest doesn't want to pay for the early check-in, I always say, if you want to drop your luggage off at the clubhouse, because the resort that my homes are in, there's a clubhouse, so people can crash at the clubhouse until check-in time. So I always tell them, you can crash there until, the check-in time comes. So that's kind of like if a person doesn't want to pay, at least, let them have an area or a space to drop off their luggage and go to the bathroom or whatever they need to do. Now, if your rental is in your house, you may not want to do that, right? I actually, like I said, I actually have my homes in a community that has a clubhouse, so they're not entering the actual house. They're at a separate location. So if you have a separate location, then yeah, allow them to drop off their luggage if they want an early check-in. All right. So you know what's coming next, right? If people ask for early check-in, then a lot of other people are also asking for a late checkout, right? People ask for a late checkout. I say, yes, we do offer a late checkout, but it's for an additional fee. And you're going to hear me say this over and over again. Don't leave money on the table. Say yes. Tell them it's an additional fee. They all won't take it, but a lot will. All right? And just think of it this way. The worst thing a person can say is no. No? Okay, so what? Then they leave at, regular checkout time. All right? And here's something that I also do. And you should do this as well. I hope you are. Charge guests if they violate your checkout time. All right? Let them know that up front in a rental agreement, or however you communicate with your guests before they arrive, and hopefully you're communicating with them before they arrive. Let them know that we have a stringent checkout time, meaning that if you are not out at checkout time, we're going to charge you. So they know that up front. So that means you have to have your things in order so that you can make sure that they're out, or you can check that they're out by checkout time, right? So if you have property management, your property manager or your cleaning captain or whoever needs to be going around making sure that the house is empty, at checkout time, or they're leaving at checkout time, and they can report back to you and say, hey, they're still in the house, or yes, they're gone, right? So you can charge them if needed. So this doesn't work if, you don't get around to checking the property until 5 at night. You know what I mean? So you've got to be on this, and you got to make sure that these people are actually leaving on time so you can charge them if needed. But in general, if they ask you, say yes, but charge them. And in this world we live in, a lot of times people will get there and want to stay an extra day. Or they'll get there, right, and they, people are always flying in and out to visit Disney World, their flight might get delayed, right? And, it was going to take off at 8. Now it's taking off at 10 at night, right? And they don't want to be at the airport all day. So they may call and say, hey, Marcella, can I stay a couple hours? Can I stay till 2? Instead of checking out at 10 or 11. So, and I'll say yes, but you got to pay this additional fee. And sometimes people think, well, if someone's flight gets delayed, you shouldn't charge them extra. That's out of their control. Why are you charging them? You should just let them stay. But here's the thing. If you have property management or you have a cleaning crew, 9 times out of 10, that cleaning crew is on a schedule too. They have to clean certain houses on a certain time. And, I've scheduled this cleaning crew to come out at this time. So if you delay it, cost me money, right? Because I've got to tell them they've got to reschedule and so on and so forth. So it's not that I'm being mean, but it's just business. It's not personal. No, it's just business. And if you're delayed, then that's an inconvenience to me because I'm going to get charged certain things and I have to pass that on to the guest. So, and that's happened a lot, not a lot, but it's happened several times. And I've never had a guest, get upset because I had to charge them a late fee. It just happens. All right. So let's keep it moving. Another way you can upsell your guests is a mini bar. I mean, hotels do it, right? It's standard. Why can't you do it? You can do this too. When you, are getting the house ready or the bedroom ready or whatever you're renting out, have a little basket of goodies, water, nuts, chips, crackers, libations, Jesus juice, soda, whatever, and have it clearly labeled, have a little sign or a piece of paper or a little sticker on each item that it costs money. And, when you leave, when they check out, check it to see if it's missing or empty, missing or eaten. If it's missing, they're going to get charged. So, most people know in a hotel, don't touch it. Otherwise, you're going to get charged. Same thing. They will know what that is in your rental property and they won't touch it if they don't want to buy it. So have a mini bar. Why not? Let's learn from the hotels. That's how they're upselling their guests. You can upsell your guests that way too. All right. And, I've seen some people put some really cool things in a mini bar, like homemade chocolate chip cookies, homemade bread. I mean, you can do what you want. And you can also put in things that's kind of unique to the area. Like, I don't know, Wisconsin is known for cheese, right? I mean, you could put like specialty cheese in there. Person, if your short-term rental is in Wisconsin, right? You can have that in there. Like if you had a short-term rental in New York City, you could have like, bagels that were made in New York City in the mini bar. I actually heard that the water is different in New York, and when they make the bagels, it tastes different. Like, you can make those same bagels with the same recipe somewhere else, but it's not going to taste the same because of the water. So, the things I read about. But anyway, that's something you can add to a mini bar because, it's kind of like unique to the area, right? So you do like fun things like that. Also seasonal things. I mean, you can just get creative and put it in your mini bar and you'd be surprised, You'll be surprised at how many people will pay for that and will buy it. All right. All right. Let's get to the next one. Equipment rental. All right. So I kind of told you about this in my initial story about the barbecue grill. It's not really equipment, but well, yeah, it is. I guess so. So here are some things that you can make available for your guests to rent: bikes, kayaks. People ask me all of the time, strollers, because they're going to Disney World. They got kids and they don't want to be, they want a stroller because Disney World's big. People ask me for cribs. Can I rent a crib? Right? You can do that in a hotel. So they're asking me that too. Can I rent a crib from you? So the key is you want to make available anything that you think your guests might need based on these two factors: the type of property you have and where your short-term rental is located, right? Okay, so like the first point, the type of property that I have. Well, my type of property in Florida has a pool deck, has a pool, and has a pool deck. So because I have that on my property, then I can offer a barbecue grill, right? Because people want to grill out in the pool. So based on the type of property you have, you can offer things to your guests, right? And then where your rental is located. So if your rental is near a national park, you might want to offer things like a bike or a kayak. Or, I don't really know much about outdoorsy life, but things that a person who was taking hikes or walking through nature would need. You want to make those available to them. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Marcella, I don't want to just buy a kayak or a bike or what if, 5 people stay at my house? I got to buy 5 bikes? What do you mean by equipment rental? Well, I'm glad you asked that, right? Because yes, I bought the barbecue grill, right? But that's just one grill, right? I buy it once and I sit it on the pool deck. People use it over and over again, right? But bikes are a little different, people different heights, different ages, different sizes. Here's what you do. There are lots of places that offer equipment for rental, right? Bike shops. You can rent bikes. Do some research, right? Based on whatever you're trying to get. Like, I'm going to say, for example, I have a house near, Yellowstone National Park, and I want bikes. I want to offer bikes to my guests. Then I would find a bike shop near me or near the rental, and I would say, do you have an affiliate program? Which means that, if I get people to rent your bikes, can I get a cut of it? A lot of times they will. Again, in where 2 of my rentals are in Orlando, that's big business. So there are whole companies that they'll rent strollers, they'll rent barbecue grills, they'll rent wheelchairs, they'll rent cribs, and they won't rent it to the guest directly. They will work through the Airbnb hosts, right? They'll coordinate with them, and for every rental you get them, they'll pay you a fee. So it's a lot of money to be made in this equipment rental, this equipment rental upsell. But the key is, it's got to be based on the type of property you have and what is near or where your short-term rental is located, right? I'm not offering kayaks to the people who rent my houses in Orlando because they don't need it. They don't want it. They'll be like, what? But they do want a grill. They do want strollers, right? All right. I know you guys are very creative. So just take a minute to brainstorm what's around you. What do you think people would need when they come stay at your rental that you can offer them? You can make a lot of money. Like I said, I make every month off of my grill alone. I mean, like 4, 5, 600 a month just off of grill. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next. Babysitting. All right. You can offer babysitting services to your guests. Now, this one, I will say, be careful because you're dealing with people's children. You're dealing with people's children. And you want to be protected. You want to be careful, right? So I know a lot of hotels and everything. Well, not a lot, but sometimes you'll go to a hotel or a resort and they will offer babysitting. So you can do that too. But you have to be aware that you might need insurance to offer that. You might need to have someone that's licensed to do that. So if you do decide to offer babysitting, make sure you legally that you are doing everything correctly and that you are protected. There are also outside agencies that offer babysitting services. So, maybe you can do some research, get creative, research some childcare agencies or nanny agencies and see if, they offer that service. And if not, if they'd be willing to work with you if, guests request that of you. All right. Now, personally, I don't offer babysitting services, and no one has asked me, but I do know of people who have that as part of their part of things that they offer their guests. All right, mid-stay cleanings. So, normally I charge all of my guests a cleaning fee, right? It's a flat fee. They all got to pay it. And your guests expect to pay a cleaning fee. But sometimes guests will stay for a longer period of time. Or they may be having like a party or something. And they may request an additional cleaning or a mid-stay cleaning. If they're staying a month or 3 weeks, they might say, hey, can I have someone come in and clean, after I'm here for a week? And I always say yes, but it's an additional fee. So here again, you got to say yes and then let them know it's going to cost you extra, because it is going to cost you extra, right? Because if you're doing it, you got to go out there again and clean it. If you have someone else doing it for you, you got to pay them to come out again and do it. So yes, and guests normally expect to pay for a mid-stay cleaning. So if a guest does not say they're having a mid-stay cleaning, if a guest doesn't request a mid-stay cleaning and you see that they're staying for like 3 weeks or longer or even 2 weeks, just let them know, hey, if you need someone to come in and clean, after a week or so, just let us know. We do, you can have a mid-stay cleaning and, it's just an additional fee we can add. And they're usually like, oh, okay, just put it in their mind. And they may say no. And then they may call you later and be like, hey, yeah, can you have, someone come in and do it? So again, we don't want to be afraid of the word no, right? No is the worst thing they can say to us. It's okay. No, they still booked your property, right? You're still getting income from that. Or if they're having an event or a party, sometimes they don't want to clean up, right? Like if they've traveled to your location and they're staying in your rental and they're having an event and they're having a party, they don't want to clean up. So a lot of times they'll say, can you have someone clean up? Yes, I can, for an additional fee. They'll pay. And to me, anytime somebody can come and clean, if I don't have to do it, that's money well spent. And a lot of people feel that way. So don't be afraid to let people know about this service. If you see they're staying a long time, and they're going to ask you. A lot of times they ask you about it as well. All right. And normally I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, how much do I charge them? Do I charge them less for a mid-stay cleaning? You charge them the same rate. Whatever your cleaning rate is, you're just charging that again. All right. Don't cut it in half or reduce it because it's a second cleaning or a mid-stay cleaning. You just charge them the same rate again. All right. Here is a good one that a lot of people kind of sleep on. Grocery delivery. Grocery delivery? Who loves grocery delivery? I do. And, coming out of this pandemic, I might not ever walk into a grocery store again. I'm definitely never going into a Costco again because of delivery service. Like that is, the pandemic was horrible, right? It was horrible. But to me, everything being delivered to my door was the silver lining of the whole thing. It changed my life, right? But anyway, a lot of guests, a lot of your guests love grocery delivery too. You can offer that to them because if they're traveling, to your location and they're booking your rental, they may be tired and, they don't want to shop for food or, you can offer that. You can take that off of their plate. So here again, I'm going to use myself as an example. A lot of people go to Disney World. If they're staying in my rental, or this is just a general thing, if they're staying in these houses to go to Disney World or Universal Studios or SeaWorld or Legoland, whatever, they've got their families with them. They got to get there. There's no food in there. We don't provide a refrigerator full of food. They got to go to the supermarket and buy their food. So after a long flight, a lot of times people are like, I don't want to go to the supermarket. Well, with grocery delivery, they don't have to. And sometimes people are like, well, I'll just set that up beforehand myself. Okay, that's fine. But more and more so, I'm finding that people are requesting this service, right? And this is kind of a thing where you can, as you're talking to your guests before they arrive, they'll tell you things like, oh, we're coming from Alaska or whatever like that. And then I'm like, oh, really? Well, that's a long flight. Well, we do grocery delivery if you need it. And it's not a lot of hassle to do, right? All you got to do is, before they arrive, get them to send you a list of what they want. Let them know, hey, it might not always be the brand stuff, right? But, if you want tomato sauce, it's going to be tomato sauce, but it may not be the brand you like. But just let them send you a list, and you just go on the store like Wegmans.com or whatever is near you, and you order the food yourself and then drop it off, or have someone else drop it off, or just have the store drop it off, So it's really, really easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of work out of your day, and you can make money on it. So you can, tack on that grocery delivery fee. So they're going to pay for the groceries, but then the delivery fee as well. Boom. Offering your guests a service. And guess what? People are going to ask you for this too. People are going to ask you. So might as well get ready. All right. Here's one that I had to be turned on to. Like, I didn't even think about this. Someone had to school me on this one. And you can offer translator or language translation services. What is this? This is a gold mine, especially um, if you have a short-term rental in another country, which people do, or you have people from other countries or cultures visiting your short-term rental. All right? If there's a difference of language, this is something you can offer, right? So let's say, for example, I go to Tokyo one day, and that is someplace that's on my bucket list. I have not been. I'm going to get there. Um, Say I go to Tokyo and I stay in an Airbnb. I don't know the language. I cannot speak. uh, yes, they do speak English there, but it's not the main language, right? So if I was staying at the Airbnb and that host let me know that, hey, you can have a translator, maybe like go with you for a half a day or meet you there, at your Airbnb and kind of show you where here and there and how to get around. And, you know, I would be like, what, really? I would love that. And other people want that too. And that's actually something standard that they do in business travel, right? If a company or the government is sending people to other countries where English is not their main language, they make sure that they have a translator there for them or language translation services, right? So that their coworkers, their employees can navigate and get around the country without the language being a barrier. So they have this person with them to assist them, whether or not all day, but at times. You can offer the same thing, right? You can hire a person out, pay them a fee, and charge your guest more than what you're paying that translator. It's really simple. So this is something that you kind of want to keep in your back of your mind. It can also be something like sign language. You know, you never know, but this is something that can be lucrative that you can add if your Airbnb is in another country or people from other cultures or countries who don't, who are not fluent or don't understand our language need. All right, concierge services. What is this? Well, tickets to shows, tours, events, restaurant reservations. You can get a kickback from businesses if you give them business. And again, I get asked this all the time, right? Because again, you guys know I said this over and over again, but because my rentals are near amusement parks, people ask me all the time, can you get me tickets to Disney World? Where should I go to get tickets to Disney World? How much does it cost to get in Universal Studios? People ask me all the time. Or can you give me good recommendations on restaurants? All day, every day. This is an opportunity to make money. People are asking me this, right? Or, and I do this as well, as I see where they're coming in, I'll say, oh, you guys are coming from Alabama? You guys want to know some good restaurants in the area? My recommendations? And what they gonna say? They like, yeah. Everybody want to go to a good restaurant if they're on vacation. So concierge services are an amazing way to add revenue to your booking. You can do this a couple of different ways. Lots of times, events or shows or tours, they will have a way that you can purchase tickets at a discount and then you sell them for a higher fee. So you can make money that way. Or a lot of times with the restaurants, you can say, hey, I get a lot of, people who come stay in my rental, and you can show them your rental history and say, if you give me coupons or, you know, can we set up something where I can, get some kind of affiliate income or whatever? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. Because you know how much it costs, for 3, 4, 5 people to go eat out at a restaurant. It's a lot of money. So this is an easy thing to do as well. All day, every day, people asking me for tickets to theme parks and recommendations for restaurants. So, and you don't have to be near anything major, right? You don't have to be near Disney World or, Universal Studios or whatever. Wherever you live, you can tell a person, hey, you want to know the best restaurant in this area? And make a deal with that restaurant. You'd be surprised if you're bringing in business to that restaurant, they're going to work with you. All right. Offer them concierge services or spa. That's a good one too. And it could be anything, nail salon, anything. Get creative. That's my motto. Get creative. All right. So you can offer concierge services as a way to upsell your guests. Here we go. Number 10, private chef. Private chef. That's right. Now, we will be following COVID-19 guidelines. I'm just being silly, but no, we are. But get a private chef and, make a deal with them. Right? A lot of people ask me for this as well. We're going to have a private chef, or we would like to have a private chef. Can you direct us of who to go to? And I'm like, oh yeah, I do know a person, right? Or they might not say they want a private chef. They may say something like, we're coming for my, parents' 50th anniversary. We're, celebrating with them. We want to know, where to go eat. And I say, well, okay, I'll give you recommendations on restaurants, which I'm going to get money from. I say, but also, since you have like 12 people, you also going to have a private chef come in for this person, for this price. And they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way. I could do that as well. So you can give them offers, but private chef is an option. And sometimes people will book my rental and they'll be like, I'm bringing in a private chef. Cool. That's fine. Because they're having an event or something. Okay, great. But if you hear your guests talking to you, got to listen to them. Listen for the money. If you hear them talking to you like, we're having this and kind of don't know what to do, don't know what to do, go give them options. You can throw in that private chef option. I had some guests come in a couple months ago and they were having a 50th birthday party. But when they got there to the rental, they realized that like a lot of the restaurants were already reserved. Like they'd have to wait for hours to get a table. And I'm talking like the whole weekend that they were there. They were there for like 4 days. So like from Thursday to Tuesday. They realized like everything was booked up because they just thought like I can go and we can go and just go sit down at a restaurant. But a lot of their reservations were already taken. So they were like, oh my gosh, we don't know what to do. And I said, well, you could get a private chef, I could make some calls. And they were like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Like, You know what I mean? So just put it out there. Again, the worst thing a person can say is no. Put it out there. I made a call to the person that I already have a relationship with. They were able to come and give, within like 2 days' notice, they were able to pull off a celebration dinner for this party. This group of women who were celebrating, their friend's 50th birthday. So, you know, put it out there to your guests, make the relationships with the people that may do this, or just, do some research and find private chefs in your area. And, you can get some extra coins. Go get those coins. Don't leave any money on that table. All right, let's go to the next one. You can offer your guests packages and experiences. And this is so slept on. And it's so slept on, like I'm even guilty of this because I have to, do this. And this is something my mentor, Paula, was actually telling me to do. And I'm putting this out there because other short-term rental owners or Airbnb hosts are doing this and making coins. You should too. And you know what? Hotels do this too, right? You've seen this. You go into the hotel for the weekend, you and your honey bun, whoever that is. I'm not judging. And, the hotel will have a honeymoon package, a romantic package, a spa package. And what is that? For extra fee, you can get A, B, C, and D, right? Look, I put some ideas up in here. If you want the romance package or the anniversary package, you can get some rose petals on the bed, some champagne, some chocolate-covered strawberries. Housekeeping will do the towels and the little heart swans on the bed. You know what I'm talking about. But you got to pay extra fee. But, people are like, ooh, yeah, we want that. We want that. Birthday package. And the guests will let you know, I'm coming in. I'm celebrating my friend's birthday. Or, it's my birthday weekend. Oh, really? Well, let me tell you about this birthday package that we have. Now, notice, I have mini birthday cake because you don't want to go all out and buy a big old cake. Just a little one, little birthday cake, some champagne, some balloons, happy birthday banner. That's it for extra fee, right? And I just did that off the top of my head. How many people do you think will pay $100 or $150, $175 for this? A lot. Why? Because it's less work that they have to do. So a lot of times, when I'm coaching other Airbnb hosts, a lot of times they always going back to the same thing. I don't want to offer them this. I'm squeamish. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I'm scared they're going to say no. What you got to realize is that you got to look at it from the guest point of view. You're offering something that they want, something that they need, something that'll take less work off of their hands. If I'm coming in for a birthday party, right, or it's my birthday or someone else's birthday, this is less work that they have to do, right? If me and my husband are going away for the weekend and I get this romance package, this make me look good to him, right? I'm not thinking about the money. I'm like, ooh, yes. And that's how you have to think about it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's less work for the guests. And what is it like to walk into a hotel room and it's rose petals everywhere? You see chocolate strawberries on the counter. It sets the mood. It sets the tone. Or if you walk into a house and it's balloons and a happy birthday banner, and you're like, oh, it sets the mood. You want that. Offer it to them. So I just put a, couple of other ideas. Spa package. People go away to spas. You could offer guests a spa package. You know what I mean? Work retreat package. And this is something that I said I'm going to think about, because a lot of people come to my rentals and they're on work retreats. Actually, right now, the guests that are staying in one of my properties right now, they told me that it's 7 coworkers and it's like a work retreat relaxation trip. They told me that. I was like, oh, wow, missed opportunity for me, right? But that's why I put that up there, work retreat package. And this is not the first time I've had people who are on work retreats stay in my property. And I was like, I got to think of what I could offer them. Or, get creative. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. Whatever you're near, get creative. Like, again, if you if your rental is near Yellowstone National Park, what's something that your guests would need? If your guests are always asking you for the same things over and over again, put that in a package. Get creative, get thoughtful, and listen to your guests, and make money off of it. Why not? They'll be happy to pay you. They'll be saying thank you. They'll be thanking you and giving you your money. And that happens over and over again. Here we go, car service. Pick them up from the airport. Now, I know what you're thinking. You like Marcella, Uber. But guess what? Not everybody want to do Uber. And I know this because, like, my dad, he's a little older. He's like, I'm not down with Uber. He's like, I'm not down with getting in people's car that I don't know. You know what I mean? He'll do a cab or whatever, but he's not doing Uber. So my last guest that stayed in one of my properties, not the guests that are in there now, the people that just left last week, was a girls' trip. None of them, they didn't drive up. They flew in, and they were not renting cars. They told me this. They were not renting cars. So I was like, oh. I said, well, why aren't you renting cars? I said, oh, no, we're just gonna, find our way around. I said, oh, y'all gonna Uber? They were like, oh, no. They were a little older. They didn't want to do Uber. That was my intro. Well, I offer car service. Somebody can pick you up from the airport. Do you need cars to go everywhere? They're like, oh, no, we already set up, to get some groceries from Target. I was like, okay. They're like, but, no, we're just going to come to the house and basically just hang out at the house all day and, for a couple of days. We're not really going to go out much. I was like, well, I could have somebody get you from the airport for a fee. They were like, oh, that would be wonderful. Boom. And, I was listening to my guests and not assuming, right? Not assuming that they're going to do Uber, or not assuming that they would rent a car. But they told me these things, right? You got to listen to your guests. And when your guests drop these nuggets, pick it up and make money, right? Car service. And even if you pick them up, right? You don't have to hire someone else. You can pick them up. Or you can send an, Uber for them, but say $25 for them to do that. if they're comfortable with Uber. If they're not, you can pick them up or get someone else or send car shuttle service, whatever. But you set that up. Easy money. All right, extra linens. And I don't get this request a lot, but people do, from time to time ask for extra linens. And sometimes I think people do this. I don't know why, but I don't know why they do it. But one, you want to always have extra linens. And if you're running several short-term rental properties, I'm always, 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 always buying, linens and towels and washcloths because people take them. We all know that. They get stained, they get ripped, they get worn out. So I'm always buying these anyway, but I always buy extra just because, from time to time, not often, people will request them. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity, but I always say absolutely yes. I can offer you extra linens. Okay, what about this? Pet fee. Now, this is interesting because usually when we talk about pets, when it comes to, a short-term rental property, it's either, well, you do allow pets or you don't, right? And that's normally how we think about it. Oh, I don't allow pets. Or yeah, I'm okay with having pets. But why can't we do like the apartment buildings do? A lot of apartments, if you want to rent an apartment, they'll be like, oh yeah, you can rent it. You can bring your pet. Your pet can live in the apartment with you, but it's a pet fee. Okay, I'm doing that too. I'm doing that too. Now, I do one of my properties, I do not allow pets, and I've even had people be like, "Please, can I bring my pet? I will pay." Because pets, you know, pets are little people to their owners. They part of the family. They got to come too, right? And they're willing to pay. So, if you allow pets, that's great. Get a fee. Because guess what? That guest understands that. They might have to pay, for the pet to go here or there, right? So we think, oh, we can't charge a fee for that. Yes, you can. And they probably expect it. So this is for the short-term rental owners or the Airbnb hosts who actually allow pets. You better add that pet fee. They're going to pay. They will pay. So if a person asks you, can I bring my pet? Say yes. And then you say for an additional fee. There you go. But on the flip side of this, if you do not allow pets, make sure that your guests don't bring them and be prepared to have procedure in place if to do what you need to do if someone brings a pet and to remove them. I've had this happen several times. Like I said, one of my properties, I don't allow pets. And I've had my property manager call me and say, hey, there's a big dog by the pool. They brought a pet, and you have to be ready to, confront the guests. So on the flip side, if they ask you, can I bring a pet? And they say no. They bring it anyway. You got to have a procedure in place for what you can do. It may be just charging them. You know what I mean? It may not be removing them and say, okay, well, you brought a pet. I'm going to charge it. Right? So you want to have a pet fee if they bring the dog when they're not supposed to, or the cat or whatever. And you want to have a pet fee if you allow pets. Okay? Get your money. All right, this is the last one I'm going to go over. Now, there are many, many more, right? But here's one: pool heat. So this is, of course, is if you have a pool or or a hot tub or whatever, charge for pool heat. I charge per day for pool heat, and a lot, probably all, short-term rental owners or Airbnb hosts near Disney World do. And I only started doing this because I saw that everybody else was doing it, because I wasn't doing this at first. But I was like, again, my mentor Paula, she was like, you should be charging for the heat. I was like, what? Like, yes. Charge for the pool heat. And here again, people will call me. People will send me emails and they be like, I want to make sure the pool heat is going to be turned on before I get there. And I say, yes. And I just want to let you know it costs an additional such and such a day. And they're like, great, just make sure it's hot. Because everybody want to have a good time. They don't care, but they don't want to have an ice cold pool. Then on the flip side, some people don't want pool heat. Some people are like, I don't want it. That's fine too. But the people that want it are willing to pay. And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm a pool heat kind of girl. There's nothing worse than me jumping into an ice cold pool. I don't want to warm up, get in there, and I don't want to have to get my mind right to get in a pool and take 5 minutes to warm up. No, I want to get in a warm pool. So I am more than happy to pay for pool heat. And people will pay, you'd be surprised for what people will pay for pool heat. Let me just say that. Here's another upsell that brings in so much money a month that you just wouldn't imagine, right? But again, the electricity company is charging me for the heat, right? I got to pay them. This amenity that I'm offering is paying that electricity bill, right? So the guests are using it, right? A service that I have to pay for. So I'm in turn charging them so I can cover that cost. And there's nothing wrong with that because they want it. And 9 times out of 10, them guests like, pool heat gonna be on right. And if it ain't on, they calling me. Like it's not on. So pool heat. So if you have a pool, if you have a hot tub, you need to be charging people. All right. So that's the 15 that I'm going to go over in this short training. What I want you to take away from this is not to be afraid to ask, right? Not to be afraid to tell them about what you offer them, right? The key is they're going to ask you for things, but you have to say, yes, but it's an additional fee. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've always been confident in doing this. When I first got started, I wasn't. I had some people stay who wanted early check-in fee or whatever, and I just didn't charge them. I was afraid. But, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's going to happen naturally. I guarantee you this, because your guest is going to be talking to you. They're going to be calling you, emailing you, or asking you things. And it's just going to be normal, right? It's going to be kind of a natural thing, right? It's kind of like when you go to McDonald's and you buy a Big Mac and they say, well, do you want fries with that? It's like, yes, I do. That's where it all, that's the probably most famous upsell of them all, right? Would you like fries and a Coke with that? Absolutely. You're not thinking, why did they ask me for fries? They trying to take my money. Well, yeah, they are, but who doesn't want fries? So this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to be afraid. And every customer, every guest, first of all, they're already giving you their money, right? They're already booked your place. You're not trying to upsell people who are just asking questions, who haven't booked your house yet. You're upselling people who have already given you money. They trust you. They want to stay at your rental. The key is to offer them things that they want and that they need based on where your property is located and the type of house you have. It's a no-brainer. All right. So again, here's all the 15 ways to upsell your guests. Here's how you can make a fortune, literally, just in upsells. I told you I use early check-in, late checkout, mini bar, equipment rental, midday cleaning, grocery delivery, concierge service, private chef, car service, pet feed. I mean, and there are more. All this adds up in a big way. You too can make a fortune upselling your short-term rental guests. They've already given you their money. They'll be happy to give you more. Okay? I've given you some ideas. Now it's on you. Get on out there and do it. Get creative. Get creative and go get your coins. I am Marcella Wilson. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about how to increase your short-term rental revenue. God bless, and I'll see you next time.